I want to introduce you to someone. This is Gabriella, and this is the Ferrari 328 Quick Start. It's going to be a quick run through on how to operate the car. This is your quick guide to get going in our car. So really quickly, this car has a name, Gabriella, so named by her prior owner of 14 years who loved her dearly and took great care of her. I'm going to take you through how to operate the car so that we can continue to take as good of care of her as he did for those years and keep in great shape. Start from the outside. These little keys do the exterior locks. This takes a bit of a jiggle until it pushes all the way in, and then you can turn it. If it's not turning easily, don't force it. Jiggle it until it goes all the way in so you don't break the key off. That same key opens this louver, which is where the gas cap is hidden. You walk around the car for 20 minutes without knowing where it is until you think maybe to turn that key, but that is where the gas cap is. Front and rear compartments, there's a latch in each sill to pop those. In the back, this is probably your most useful cargo space. You can fit a couple soft duffels in there, but it does get hot. Don't put your ice cream in there. And this is an aluminum cover, so it's really important when you close it, don't just grab it here and shove it down. Put your hands up on the edges here where there's some reinforcement, and with both hands, firmly push it so you get the latches on both sides. In the front, you pull this up, you have very minimal space there, maybe a laptop bag if anyone has such a thing. Put it back down, again, really important. You have to lift up and press on that button to release this shock and let it go down. Again, if you try to force it, you'll bend it. So I get it from about here, drop it, make sure each side is clipped, and then we're good. The top, if you look under, there's a latch here, and you pull up when you have both latches released and pull the whole top back. There's 2 pins, and it slides behind the seats. I do it with the pins down, and there's this nice leather cover that goes up and clips to hold it in place. When you're in the car, things are a bit quirky, but there is some classic Italian characteristics here. So first off, just a general reminder on all the old cars is, to watch the gauges, be mindful of, your maximum mechanical sympathy when driving these cars. These are sweet sounding cars, really nice Italian V8, and they have all the kind of joy and character of modern Ferraris, maybe not with the same speed, but there's a lot of joy to be had of these cars. That said, while you want to, rev the car on occasion and hear the engine, there's no reason to be pushing a car this vintage to the red line, really ever. This car has been working hard for 40 years, and we want to keep it in good shape. Actual driving of it, you'll notice the pedals are way off to the right, and it's a pretty narrow pedal box, so wear your narrowest shoes when you're driving. Gearbox, it's the dogleg 5-speed, so first is down and to the left, and to go into reverse, you push straight down and go up and to the left. Another older Ferrari characteristic is that the gears can be a bit cranky when the car is cold, so until it warms up and the oil gets loosened up, you may have to take it easy going into second gear. Other bits and pieces, the headlights, you have one twist turns on the parking lights, push down on the stock turns on the headlights, and one more turns on the high beams. That's another classic Ferrari characteristic. You have a flyaway handbrake, so you see the handbrake is on the floor on the left here. When you pull it up to set it, it will click. It was already set, so it didn't click, and then it falls back to the floor so you can get out of the car without having to step over it. So to release it, you pull up again, push the button in and hold it and let it down. You'll see when the car is on, there's a red indicator light for the parking brake. If that's on, the handbrake is set and you need to pull it up, hold the button in and release it. Window controls, mirror controls are there. This does have AC, as well as it ever did, which is not that great. These cars on a hot day, they're gonna blow a little bit of cold air at the top of your head, but it's not really gonna cool down the cabin. And in the conditions where you want it the most, it's actually really tough on the car to run it. If you run it in stop traffic on a hot day, you'll overheat the car. It's really there for if you're on the highway moving and air is flowing through the radiator, you can use it if you want to put up the windows and not have wind noise, or if you get caught out on a warm, rainy day. But don't sit in traffic with it on, or if you do, be very mindful of that temperature gauge. As it gets up 195, right in the middle is where it wants to be. You don't want to let it creep over that, so you might have to cycle the AC on and off if you really need it in traffic. Just quickly on the controls of it is separate controls for AC and heat. The blue and yellow dial are for the AC, temperature and fan speed. The orange dials are heat, fan speed, and temperature for the heat, as well as the direction. And the last bit, when you want to put on tunes, hard to imagine why you would do that, because you want to listen to the sweet sound of that Ferrari motor, manually put up the power antenna by pushing the button in the center console here. So that's it. That's our Ferrari Quick Start, as fast as I can get through it, but we have a lot of unique things to cover in these old cars.